Now to draw the pipes on this side, because it's the exact same over on here, we could just use the mirror command to help finish the process faster. But now because we are practicing a tutorial video, I'm going to decide to draw everything step by step. Now for the left side we started drawing from here, then we went up to the riser. But here for the right side we're going to select another starting point. For example, we're going to start from here. All in all, what I'm trying to say here is that it makes no difference where you start from, but I like to remind you that once you're done drawing everything below the ceiling, make sure to check their elevations as well. So now the pipe command, shortcut PI. Now the left hand rule, we check PVC, WP, then the size, then for the elevation, because we are starting to draw from the middle, or in another case we start from the riser to the area drain, I'll just put in a random elevation, for example 3500, and we'll adjust it later. Now because we're drawing from the riser to the drain, then the slope should be up. As we said before, when we get close to the drain, the slope goes up. So now I'm going to start here, click, then click again, then at a 45-degree angle, but maybe in your plan it doesn't say a 45-degree angle, which could be just a drawing mistake. But make sure to remember that you pay attention to drawing it at a 45-degree angle. Alright, now click, and click again, click, and then somewhere near the drain, the last click, then we press escape. Now to continue, we decided to use what we already have. So now we're going to go on the elbow and select it, then click on the plus sign to make it a T, then we right click on the T, then click on draw pipe, then again we check PVC WP, size, and the elevations inherited from all the other pipes, and the slope is up. Now we come down here and click, then click again, then somewhere near the drain we click and press escape. Now let's go over here, and again we're going to continue with what we already have. We select the elbow and click on the plus sign to make it a T, then right click on the T and draw pipe. Now let's double check PVC, system type, diameter, and the elevation, and we're getting close to the drain, so we select slope up. So then click, and then at a 45-degree angle click, then I'm going to go up near this point and click again, and then near the drain we're going to click and press escape. Okay, now before we do anything further, let's adjust the elevations. Let's just take this section. We're going to flip it, then we're going to take it and move it over here. Now right click and go to view. Alright, now take a look at the beams that we have along the way. As you can see, they've been interrupted by the pipe. So we're going to select it and use the arrow keys in the keyboard to move it lower. I think that's enough. It seems like this elevation is fine. And over here where it's going through the beam, and if we check in the plan we see that the other beam is this one, so we're going to check this one as well, and then again section, click, and click. Now we're going to minimize the section a little, but this time I'm not going to have to look for clips. I'll just go to the properties window and set the far clip offset on the number 1000, which is 1 meter. Now it looks like the clips are closer, so we're going to right click and go to view. Now let's set the detail level on 5, and as you can see over here, as well as this part, are now below the beams. So by far we've also double checked the elevations to make sure they're not too high. Now let's start placing the drains and the cleanouts till we get to the riser. To place an area drain, we're going to go up to the Systems tab and then find and click on Plumbing Fixture command. Plumbing fixture is actually for placing the plumbing fixtures, for example, things like sinks, water closets, tubs, drains, and things like that, all the similar appliances. Alright, now once we click on plumbing fixture, what message do we get? You can see that it says no plumbing fixtures family is loaded in the project. So we haven't loaded any plumbing fixture families in the project. Would you like to load one now? If we click yes, it would be the same thing as insert and load family. So we're going to click yes. And now we have to look for our family. We're going to go in that metric folder. Then we go over to plumbing, MEP, fixtures. And as you can see, our fixtures have been grouped in here. For example, we have the bathtubs here, as well as the drains. And we have emergency fixtures, things like eye wash, Then we have lavatories, we have showers, sinks, and urinals, and we also have water closets for the restrooms. But now we're going to go into drains. We have 3 different types of drains here, one of which is rectangular, round, and roof drain. Rectangular, you can tell by its name what it is. Round is circular, and roof drains are placed in the rooftops, which have a little nozzle for garbage disposal. So now we are going to be selecting this rectangular floor drain. If you recall, its dimensions were also 30 by 30 according to the plan. Now we're going to open and wait for the family to be loaded. Now look here in the properties window. There are different sizes here. We have strainer 125 millimeters by 125 millimeters and 5 millimeter drain. These sizes go on like so, up to 200 by 200 millimeter strainer and 100 millimeter drain. Our drain is supposed to be 300, so we're going to select this one, then go to edit type, and then duplicate it. And now we're going to delete this number 2 at the end of it, and then change this to 300 by 300. And the drain for connecting the pipes is 100. So okay, and we go here. We're going to change the strainer length to 300. Then our pipe diameter is already 100. Then pipe radius, 100 divided by 2 equals 50. And we also have some other parameters that can be adjusted. Things like body radius, body height, or body diameter. As you can see up here, the circle is indicating the body. Its diameter is 206. And its radius would be half of it. We also have body height, and strainer height is the size and the height of this part above. Now if we click on preview, because this is a hosted family, we might not get the exact proper sizes, but we still can click to see if we can view the measuring lines. You see, for example, pipe radius, it's showing us the radius of the pipe which is going to be connected to it. And body radius is the radius of this bigger circle here, which it's showing us a preview of. Then we also have body height, which we can't clearly see here. Even if we change the view, for example, we're going to set it on left, but because this hosted family is placed inside its host, we are able to see something, but like, let's change left to right, and there it is, this lower part here. So that was body height. Now strainer height is for this upper part. If you try out different views, you would be able to understand these better, but still remember that because it's showing us a preview of a hosted family, we might probably not have a proper view, but still you can change your views to understand all them better. So for now, I have only adjusted the strainer length to 30 by 30. Now we click OK. Now we're not going to change anything else because it's not mentioned in the plan. If it has been, we would have adjusted it. Now our floor drain family is hosted, so we have to place it by selecting one of these. One option is vertical face, then we have face or work plane. Now in order to place floor drains, the best way in my opinion would be place on work plane. First you can specify a work plane, then go up to the options bar, then set the placement plane on the upper level, which right now it would be FFLP05. Then we're going to go over here, then click on the axis of the drain which we have in the plan. But now, what does the software tell us? It says none of the created elements are visible. So we can't see the thing we modeled here. So we press escape. Let's go check in section or 3D. I'm going to select this area, then press BX, which is the shortcut for our selection box. And now we're going to rotate it a little. Also, I'm going to expand it to the left a bit. Now from this side, let's view it from the top. Then over here. Now that we have expanded the view from the top a little bit, we can see the floor drain over here, right on the FFL. And from below, because it doesn't have an opening, we can't see anything. But the important thing is that we can see it's been placed. Or let's view it in section. I'm going to go up here to the section command and click, then click. Now I'm going to make this section a little tight and move it around so we can only see the pipe. Then right click and go to view. Do you see that? There's the floor drain and our pipe. Now, why can't we see the drain in the plan? Do you remember back when we talked about view range? What was its shortcut? It was VR. There it is. Now here we can see it says from offset 0 up to 4000. Here's something we can do. First, I'm going to close all these extra views and keep this section and the plan. Then we go to view and tile views. There is our plan and here is the section. Also, let me expand this from the bottom. Now let's measure the elevation from up here down to the FFL. Now we got 4400. Now we're gonna go here, then press VR for view range. Then we realize that it's showing us everything up to the elevation 4000. So our first guess is that the floor drain is at a higher elevation and that's why we can't see it. So here's the thing, we're gonna change the top to level above and offset 0. Or in other words, we would be viewing up to the 4400 elevation to the level above, which is FFL PO5. Now we apply. Do we see anything now in the plan? Still no. So our next option is cut plane. We have said this before that some items will only be visible in the plan if a cut plane goes through them. So now our floor drain is over here, but our cut plane is 1200, which would be somewhere around here. Now, if we change this to, for example, 4200, let's click apply. We still can't see the drain. We're going to measure it later because it may be higher, but let's set it on 4300 and then apply. There we go. Now we can see the drain, so we're going to click OK. Now we're going to go in the section and measure it from below the floor drain down to the FFL. We got a number around 4200. So because 4200 was too low, we still couldn't see it. But once we changed it to 4300 and the cut plane could go through it, then it became visible. Alright, now to connect the pipe to the floor drain, we would have to do it in section. But why is that? It's because our connections are 45 degrees. Now I'm going to delete this measuring line. Then at the end of the pipe, I'm going to right click and draw a pipe. Then at a 45-degree angle, let me move the area so you can see better. Once we reach the axis of the drain, we're going to click and then click. Now escape. One of the signs that your connection has been accomplished is that the drain's color changed to the color of the pipes. Now let me move this elbow lower, and now we're going to view it in 3D. As you can see, the drain changed to red, and if you view from below it, you will see that the pipes have been connected to it. Now I'm going to go in the plan, then go on View and tab Views, so I can see the plan in a full screen. Alright, now what do we have here? We have a cleanout. So we're going to click on the elbow and the plus sign to make it a T, and now we're going to place a cleanout. You see, in the PVC families that we have, for example, let me go up to Insert and Load Family, and then go back in the Metric folder, and then go to Pipe, and then Fittings, PVC, Schedule 40, Socket Type, and DWV. Now here we have a cap, which could be placed and connected to pipes, for example, by using glue or something. All this cap does is to cover. Now we have another thing called plug. Plug has some kind of a screw shape to it and goes inside the pipe. So in case it was necessary, we can just take it off and then put in the spring and then place the cleanout and put the plug back in. So it is better that for cleanouts we use plugs. Now we're going to open. So now to place the cleanout we have two ways. For the first one, we're going to go to the Systems tab, and then we're going to go to Pipe Fitting, and the last family loaded has been selected, and now we're going to go on this fitting. Then once we see the connection clip, we're going to click, and then its direction and size will compromise. So now this is a plug which can be opened, and once we take it off we can see the cleanout and put the plug back in. Now I'm going to delete this and show you the second way. First you can select this pipe, then go up in the ribbon and click on Cap Open Ends. So it's going to put a cap on the open end. So now we've placed a cap, not a plug. How would the software know whether to put a plug or a cap? Let me press Ctrl Z, then select the pipe and go to Edit Type, then edit the fittings. As you can see here, we specified that we would want to place caps in case. So let's change this to plug and click OK and OK. Now we're going to select the fitting and go to cap open ends. It's not going to change to plug open ends. It's still cap open ends, but it's still going to place the plugs that we selected. Now let's go back to this side. We have another floor drain. Here we can either place another floor drain or we could just copy the previous one. So we go to Systems tab, then click on Plumbing Fixture. We still have the drain 300 and place on Work Plane PO5. Then we go here and click and place it. Now we press Escape. Now the axis of the pipe and the drain should be the same, so I made sure that I place it along the axis of the pipe. Now I'm going to take this section down here and put it over here. Now when we were drawing the pipes, I told you to place it somewhere near the drain. Now near the drain could be over here to someone, and to someone else it would be here. The important thing is that we would be able to go to section and connect the pipe to the drain easily. Let me close this 3D view, then go up to the View tab and Tile Views. On the left we have the plan, and on the right we have the section. Now, if this pipe, first let me drag it backwards. Alright, if it were a little bit far behind, as you can see somewhere around here, then we would have right-clicked, then draw pipe, and because we wanted to draw it at a 45-degree angle, it would have gone so far from the drain. So it wouldn't look so good if it's too far behind. Also, if it were too close, for example, if it were over here, and then we would have gone to the section and right-clicked and draw pipe. In that case, we might not have even gotten an elbow, or, for example, we might have missed the drain. So it's not good that you draw your pipe too close or too far from the drain. So I decided to create a distance, for example, as much as the drain, then place the pipe so that I would connect it later. Now, in case you didn't have a proper distance, for example, if your pipe was a little too far, you could go in the plan and drag the pipe backwards to decrease its length. But in section, you are not allowed to drag to do that. Why is that? First, let me select Tab Views so we can see the section on full screen and also set the detail level on Shaded. So you know the pipe has a slope. So if we drag it, as you can see, once I did that, it became horizontal as it also says. So I'm going to click and let go. Then you see that the slope is gone. So let's undo it. Ctrl Z. So remember that dragging in section is a little risky. It makes the slope go away unless we zoom in too close. And now I'm going to click and go forward. As you can see, it's also saying original, as in the slope is not changing. So if I move the mouse a little bit to the sides, the slope is gone. So now I'm going to move up. Once you try this out, you will notice the movement of your mouse. Right now I'm moving the mouse by millimeter, but either way it would still move around. So now I'd have to move this forward, then move again and drag it forward. You can see how hard it is to drag. We would have to zoom in and make it longer little by little, because if you don't zoom in, the slope would go away. If you don't pay attention for a split second, you would mess up your slope. Now another way, right-click and draw pipe. Make sure that you consider your angle and drag this as far as you need. We're moving the mouse horizontally, but we're still getting the slope. Now once you're done with that, if you want to continue at a 45-degree angle, it would show you the angles a little bit too precise. Do you see how it's showing us decimal places? It's 38.56. This is the angle's degree. So you would have to press Escape once to cancel the entire process, then right-click again and draw pipe, and now you can see exact degrees with no decimal places. Previously, because the pipe was going with a slope, the degrees were also changing along with it. So if you decide to drag to increase the length of a pipe, you'd have to make sure you don't change the slope because it's very sensitive. But if you go by right-clicking and draw pipe, and then try to draw a 45-degree angle, you would have to cancel it first and redraw. Now, to decrease the length, we can still drag, but on the condition of paying attention. or you could just go to Modify and then click on Split Element. Then the pointer turns into a cutter, so we're going to click to cut the pipe. And now we're going to select this cut part and then delete it. And then to continue, we're going to right click and draw pipe, then continue at a 45 degree and finish. Now I'm going to press Ctrl Z. So now we're going to get a conclusion. If you want to decrease or increase the length of a pipe in section, because it's possible that you may have drawn the pipe a little too far or too close. That doesn't matter, the important thing is that you adjust it later. So if you want to fix that in section, it would be a little bit risky and a little complicated. So we prefer to do all of that in the plan area, because in the plan you can very easily drag the pipe to decrease or increase its angle without changing its slope. Or we could just right click and draw pipe to increase the length, or we could use split element to cut it. But I guess dragging is much easier than all that. So I'm going to repeat that dragging is not allowed in section. That's because the possibility of making errors and mistakes is very high. So if you want to drag, you can only do that in the plan. Once you position your pipe accurately, you can right click and draw pipe, then at the proper angle, but oh no, we just drew it at the wrong angle. How do we fix that? We can just drag it at a 45 degree angle. Now we're going to right click and draw pipe, then connect it to the drain and press escape. Also, we can move the elbow lower. Now let's go back to the plan and to the next drain. Let's go up to the last one here. We're going to go to the Systems tab and then click on Plumbing Fixture, but let's say that I'm not paying much attention and then place the drain not along the axis of the pipe. Also, let's say that I haven't realized I've done that. We want to see how its connection would turn out. I'll go take this section and move it up here, right click and go to View. Now, it's not clear here in the section, and I haven't noticed it in the plan either. Now I'm going to right click and draw pipe. Now at a 45 degree angle, click and click up here. You see it doesn't draw. As you can see, it says the segment is being drawn from the wrong side. So it's like it's trying to connect this pipe to the drain, but a fitting is going to be placed on the wrong side, as you can see in the error. So that couldn't happen. Now, if this distance was, for example, a little bit less and closer to the pipe, it's not aligned though, but still it's a little closer. Now let's continue, right click and draw pipe and connect to the drain. Now, the connection did happen, it's only that we got an extra fitting. You should never tolerate an extra fitting in your drawing. Elbow, elbow. But what is this extra fitting doing here? As you can see, a reducer has been placed. So quick, we're going to select it and press BX to view it in selection box, and then rotate the area. And if we still can't see, we're going to set it on front and move the elbow lower. So now it's still showing us the elbow, and there it is. We can see that reducer. As you can see, something strange has been connected to the elbow. Let's rotate this. And you see, because the distance is very little, it's not too tilted at first glance. But do you see that once we zoom in? Do you recall previously when we were placing a T-fitting and we got an extra reducer because the elevation wasn't proper? The same thing happened here. So if ever something extra was added, that's your cue that you've made a mistake. So now I'm going to delete all of these, as well as this one, then go back to the plan and align AL. Then click on the axis of the pipe, and there it is, the axis of the drain. Now we're going to go back to section, and right click here, draw pipe, 45 degree angle, and we connect it to the drain. Alright, so if your drain is too off course, you wouldn't be able to draw anything. You would get errors or no auto-route solution, or the wrong side error which we just saw. Or if your distance is very little, you would get an extra reducer and end up with a tilted drawing. So always remember to have your axis all aligned. So remember, even if you feel like you've placed your drain a little bit off course, make sure to align the axis. Again, we have a clean out here. We're going to convert the elbow to a T and then put a cap on it. Again, same thing over here. We're going to select the elbow and convert it to a T and then cap this T fitting. Now for the left side, we have to do all the same things to connect the drains to the pipes. But let's just place one drain over here. We go to the Systems tab, and then click on Plumbing Fixture, and then on the plane FFL PO5. And then we're going to go over here, and onto the drawing in the plan, we're going to click to place the drain. Also, we make sure that its axis is along the axis of the pipe. Now, previously we talked about section, but if we right-click here in the plan and draw pipe, and then try to connect it to the axis of the drain, it doesn't identify the axis, so I'm going to press the Tab key. Then once the endpoint is grabbed, I'm going to click. Now we press Escape. Now we're going to take a section. We had one over here. I'm going to take it, then put it over here. Now right-click and go to View. Now, as you can see, we have a hard 90-degree angle, but we said that we wanted to connect the pipes to the drains by using two 45-degree angles. So that's why we can't connect all of them in the plan, and we have to go in section to do that. Now, I can just delete this elbow, then right-click on here and draw pipe, then at a 45-degree angle. It's alright if we cross the pipe. We're going to click and press Escape, then trim TR and connect this to this. But there's not enough space. It also says line is too short. We see a very short line here, so we're going to cancel. And then take this elbow and move it a little to the right to make enough space. Then TR and connect this to this. Now Escape. Now the connection is done.